Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Flourish Ajibodun for Ifla Africa 2013 Symposium. I would like to ask you a few questions about landscape architecture, but before I go on, I want you to introduce yourself, ma'am.
I'm Nina Maritz. I'm an architect from Namibia
Hmm.
in private practice.
Okay, ma'am. Now, I would like you to tell us a little about landscape architecture generally. For those that really don't know much about it, what would you say landscape architecture is all about, ma'am?
I think it's important to realize that landscape architecture is not just gardening, it's actually the integration of the human um, with nature. So it's the integration of buildings with the spaces around them, it's the integration of transport systems with the nature around them. Um, it's about that link.
Ma'am, how does landscape architecture affect the economy at large and the ecosystem and also global warming, ma'am?
Okay, those are three things here:
Yeah, three things.
economy, um,
Ecosystem?
ecosystem, and global warming.
Yeah.
Okay. As far as the economy is concerned, landscape architecture as a discipline and as an industry can be a very effective economic industry. You know, it can provide work for a lot of people. Um, it can assist in creating income or livelihoods for people, which goes beyond just employment by integrating, say, agriculture into urban situations or um, creating projects where people appreciate the immediate natural environment, the indigenous environment, and they learn to take care of it. And by taking care of it, they can derive income from it, either from products that they harvest or from tourism, um, for instance. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. We both know that the Europe country is kind of ahead of us in things like this. But the question is, where do you see landscape architecture in Africa generally in the next 10 years?
I think what's important, we can go two ways. The one
Okay.
thing is we can go around in circles where we are now
Okay.
and debate the same issues over and over again, or we can decide to do what they call leapfrog development.
Mm.
Now, what the advantage is in a country that is not yet developed
Developed.
in
Yeah.
terms of landscape architecture is that what you can do is you can go and study the international scene and the examples. You can learn both from the successes and from the mistakes, and you can start further than they are. So I think it's very important that people inform themselves of developments. And one of the most critical things is the issue of integration. You know, how are we integrating ecosystems with landscape architecture? It's not just about beautifying, it's about creating living environments and taking an environment that you've got and making it better in terms of an ecosystem. So if you had no life in it, that you introduce some life, or if you've had some life in it, that you increase the biodiversity.
Ma'am, what is your opinion generally about Ifla internationally and here in our country, Africa?
Look, being an architect and not a landscape architect, I haven't had much contact with Ifla, but in the information that I've been given up to now and what I've observed at the conference and the things that were said, I'm very impressed with the organization as a whole. I think it's got a definite place. It's very good for people to get together and talk about their issues because you learn from each other. It's important that individual practitioners shouldn't be just competitive, but they should learn to join together to make the world at large more aware. You know, the only way we're going to win this climate change situation or achieve anything in it is by working together and making people on the whole, you know, from rich to poor, from fat to thin, aware of the problems and how offer solutions, how they can address it.
Okay. Can you tell us a little about your experience as a landscape architect?
Okay. I'm not a qualified landscape architect, but what I try and do as an architect is integrate the landscape with my buildings. There are different ways of doing it, which I'll discuss in my talk tomorrow. And because we have no landscape architects in Namibia, what I do is I've educated myself a lot about the local conditions, the botany, and so on. I think it's very important that one self-educates beyond your university education continuously. We're never too old to learn. And then every new project, I try and learn about the immediate environment and what would benefit it, both the human side of it and the natural side of it, and then try and bring those together. And then I work with a horticulturalist in terms of establishing what planting we do and so on. But the most important is I try and conserve the vegetation that is there already. Because a tree that has been growing in the ground for 10, 100, 500 years will always be more healthy and more resilient and better for the environment than one that you go and plant artificially.
Yeah. So please tell the people, plant a tree, please. Plant a tree.
Plant a tree.
Yeah.
No, not just one tree. Plant a tree every week. Plant, if your own yard gets full, plant on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
One of my friends have done that.
Wow.
And when his street was full of trees, he went to the neighboring street and he asked the people, can I plant on your sidewalk? Will you look after the tree for me? So he's gone through his neighborhood and he's planted
Wow.
trees like that.
It's nice having you here in Nigeria, Nina. Please, can I get a hug? Thank you very much for coming. Really
Pleasure.
do appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So, to have a great day and a wonderful lunch.
Thank you.
All right.